Fireball summer, honeymoon lovers, seeing no colors. Love me all summer, making discovers under your covers. Fireball summer, honeymoon lovers, seeing no colors. Love me all summer, making discovers under your covers.
I'll start by presenting the PuTi team, starting with Erika. Number 3, Maietta. Number 4, Susanna Sunaka. Number 6, Maria Leung. Number 10, Maria. Number 11, Erika. Number 15, Ayden. Number 16, Fowler. Number 17, Morri. Number 18, Dayan. Number 19, Jesse. Number 27, Leung. Number 32, Arnold. Number 34, Morri. Number 45, Chung. Number 46, Willem. Number 55, Emil. Number 59, Raquel. Number 64, Jason. Number 77, Patrick. Number 80, Auntie. Number 81, Tuka. And number 93, Erik. Number 13, Daniel Epstein.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. The sun is shining, I've put a shirt on, and Windmill 2022 is almost at a conclusion, but we've just got time for one more game, and what a game it promises to be. GRUT from the Netherlands, multiple-time Windmill champions, hometown heroes, taking on the #1 seed after the Swiss draw phase, the mighty Finns of PuTi. It is Benjamin Rees here with you in the booth, and I am delighted to be joined for the final time this weekend by the Viennese whirlwind herself, Miss Christina Obermeier.
Hey Benji, hello everyone watching online. Thanks for tuning in. It's promising to be an intense final between two powerhouses, the mixed division. Both multiple top 4 performances in recent EUCFs. European finals, that is. GRUT, I believe, current European champions as
They
well.
are indeed. Yeah, they overcame Salaspils in the final. Salaspils only just made it to the final with a tight, how can I put this? I don't want to say ugly because that makes it sound like they're not good at Ultimate. The conditions were terrible, and by the end of it they were more mud than people, but they narrowly overcame PuTi, who went into the bronze medal game instead. But they're two teams that are seemingly very evenly matched. The almighty algorithm sees just a breath between them. As for how it's going to play out on the field, well, there's only one way to find out.
Stay with us, watch the final with us.
Yeah, enjoy, because Windmill's nearly over for another year. I cannot believe it. It feels like it's absolutely flown by. Mixes have been mingled. Beer races have been won and lost, and everybody silent discoed till the wee hours of the morning. I will not say precisely what time I turned in.
No, let's not.
But it was later than it should be for a man of my age.
Oh, Benji, you're still young.
Definitely not.
That depends on what point you've seen it.
Looking at GRUT makes me feel very old, because we know, I think the book is out on them. They are young, freakishly athletic, and they love to put it deep.
I feel like every year this is brought up, that they're super young and athletic, and that's what makes them special, but they're getting older as well, you know that, right?
I know that they age as I age. They're not frozen in time. I do get that. But they're still, the majority of the roster is probably mid-20s at oldest. And that's, I mean, they've got a wealth of international experience, but that's still relatively young, especially compared to the vastly experienced Finns. But don't count them off as just, you know, old, wily veterans. They are more than capable of explosive plays themselves.
I bet.
Anyone who watched their semi-final with Ambush yesterday will be able to attest to that.
Or any other games that they've been on the live stream.
That is true. It's going to be interesting because we're a little bit hit and miss in Swiss draw, but in the bracket they absolutely thumped 2 of the UK's best, Reading and Smog. So it seems like maybe they found some extra gears to go into. Can they unlock it in the final as the first pull goes up, and we're underway. Blasman catches the pull, finds Ben Oort. Oort with that sleeve on his right arm. Mr. Blasman, as the wind is whipping up a little bit now. Blasman out to space for Walt Janssen. Surveying his options downfield. Told to look for the swing, that's what he does. And Minard thinks about the break, or instead scrambles back towards the open side. You can see how sticky the coverage is downfield. PuTi switching effectively, but they find the break GRUT do to Blasman. Janssen in the backfield now. Everything's going laterally at the moment, not getting any real verticality to their offense at the moment. Janssen holds for far too long and really read the eyes there. Brilliant defense.
Getting high there, smacking that disc into the ground. No chance for a rescuing play for any of the GRUT players. Gives a red zone opportunity to PuTi.
Yeah, can they break on the game's first point? Hatari to the end zone. No, not quite in just yet. Vandanen wants to reset back to Hatari, and it's smuggled away brilliant by Blasman. Coulart charges off deep. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to catch up to her, but the force does a good enough job of getting in the way. He's got Blasman available as the short option, does Oort, but he doesn't like it at the moment. Instead, he wants to rip in. He wants to get GRUT firing at all cylinders early. Can Blasman catch up to it? Of course he can. GRUT weather the storm to score the game's first point for 1-0.
Why take the open under when you can take the open deep shot?
I mean, if you can throw it like that, I get it. You know what? I absolutely get it.
Yep, I agree. We're going to see that all game from GRUT, taking some risky and some safe options, but highlights nonetheless.
Did feel that at times it felt like they're holding the disc for a while, but that's GRUT's style of play. They're happy to eat up stall counts to give players time to make those churning cuts downfield.
They're definitely a huck-heavy team.
That is true. We're seeing there just Blasman picking the pocket of PuTi before Oort rips it, and Blasman goes coast to coast and catches the goal for the bookends. So 1-0 to GRUT here. Ball fielded by PuTi. Recola sits this one beautifully out into space. By Leno into the backfield for Sandberg. Sandberg puts it beyond the defender, but beyond the receiver as well.
Both players bidding, but the disc hitting the ground regardless.
Dunshern's going to pick it up and find Dam. Defensive powerhouse, nose for the end zone, but this time she's just going underneath to find Marcel Klinge. Klinge with a high release into space, a little bit dicey perhaps, but not if Dunshern's there, reeling it in, and that's a break and 2-0 for GRUT.
Special shout out to my mate Jakob Dunsian from Austria, import, studying in Utrecht at the moment. Tried out for GRUT and they took him on late as an addition to join the Worlds team. Yeah,
originally he moved to the Netherlands to focus on studies, not even for Ultimate. Well, we can see how well that went. Chris Harris, his teammate, is his associate professor.
Yes, they're working together not only on the pitch,
but off it as well. So 2-0. Both sides turned it over on their first offensive possessions. The difference was that PuTi gave it back, whereas GRUT were ruthless and clinical. So they're getting ready to send another formidable D-line out there. PuTi just having to reset.
GRUT picking up defensive pressure during that weekend. Day one was mediocre, as they say, but on the second day, they just pushed differently.
This is the beauty of Swiss draw, I think, that you know, as long as you're keeping games close, you're not getting blown out, then it gives you time to come back and hit full stride. Break low towards the far side of the field. Nini makes the catch. Finds an option central. Wiedemann trying to play a 1-2 with Nini. Fakes into the backfield instead and rips it deep. A beautiful IO huck. Can it be caught up to in the back of the end zone? Not a problem. What a throw to Emil Wiedemann to make it 2-1.
Beautiful stuff there from PuTi, swinging it from sideline to sideline just to put a receiver in the perfect position to get a huck, and this is what we're going to see from PuTi all game long. Putting discs into positions where just one person, the intended target, will get that disc, preferably in the end zone.
I mean, there's no one else even in the same postcode. It's Wiedemann and lots of luscious fake green grass. Playing in the stadium fields here at the National Rugby Centre in Amsterdam on the 4G surface. So a bit of an adjustment from what we've been seeing on the grass.
I think in theory, you're quicker on the turf, aren't you, the gas?
That is the theory, yes. As to how true it is, I can't really attest because I feel like I'm slow wherever I go. But those who have speed tell me that that is indeed the case. This one is going to drop just about in bounds. Blasman picks up and sends us to Oort, who's all alone. Or underneath to Janssen, out of that split stack on the far sideline. Now Oort has it, now Oort rips it, looking for Coulartz. Two defenders are there, but Coulartz comes through at the back of the zone for 3-1. It was almost inevitable.
If you have a target like Coulartz, yes.
2-on-1, but the precision and placement of the throw means that it's flawless disc all day.
It's just very interesting because both teams have a very similar style of playing, and neither can stop the other.
Yeah, you feel like because, you know, obviously you play against it in training because that's your style, you'd be able to stop it. But any offense executed excellently is always a trouble for the defense, even if you know what's coming.
The defender, Kaupinen, is very close to Coulartz, but this just out in front of her reach. And another poaching off defender in the area, but nowhere near the disc.
(3-1) GRUT lead early in this mixed final, the last game of Windmill 2022. A little bit of inside-out shape, fielded and caught low, and PuTi's offense is underway. Coming underneath is Wiedemann. He's caught PuTi's only point so far. Leno swings central. PuTi trying to keep the disc moving on low stall counts. Now they're forced to hold it a little bit here with Sivo, and they're not going to find the connection.
Beautiful flow from PuTi until the flying through defender stops it.
Daniel Epstein had other ideas, and this defensive pressure that we've seen GRUT ramp up in the past couple of games is out in force today. Lola Dam swings central. Van den Brink to Kuhlen. Kuhlen wants an option, might have to turn and isolate the reset. That's what she does, and a well-timed cut out to the far sideline. Volker Schrapp tries to squeeze that one in there. Can Kuhlen make the catch? She slides to the ground and snags it. 4-1, it's another GRUT break.
Very efficient D-line offense. Patient as well. Not trying to push it in to like small space, but going around and finding a lot of space, or player in a lot of space, I want to say, for that score.
GRUT's offense at the moment looks in ominous form. Because that's a testing throw down that far sideline from Schrapp. But actually, Kuhlen was more than equal to it.
She did have to lay out.
She did, that is true. But you feel like maybe as a force that, okay, we forced them to make a low percentage backhand down the sideline, and it sticks anyway, and you feel like, what do we do now?
Play harder defense, or better offense, to not even get them in the position.
That is a fair point.
Would be my expert opinion.
Easier said than done, of course.
Yeah, well, left that part out for a reason.
So GRUT coming back out on defense, and Dam will pull. Going with that roll curving backhand. PuTi field. Rekola goes towards the sideline. GRUT will try and trap it here. Trying to play some zone on PuTi. Just throw something different. See how well they deal with it, even though the match defense has been generating turnovers. Swung to Kuistinen. Needy trying to direct traffic downfield. Give goes with Kuistinen, and then Hatari. Now they're gaining some yards, trying to put this throw into space. Wants to jump it in. Discussion about whether or not he was able to do so.
It's close for sure.
It's always tricky with these jump-ins to find out exactly when the catch was made and whether there was still contact with the ground.
Short discussion. Big jump.
Someone's been doing the old long jump practice, I guess, getting in the sand pit.
Well, debatable.
When you say debatable, do you mean that you think he's still on the ground? Well,
So yeah.
it doesn't matter because the players on the sideline seem happy that the goal is good. And that'll be 4-2.
They sliced through that zone very calmly in.
I mean, I like throwing it in there every now and again. Just give them a different challenge. Maybe you can steal a free turnover while they work out what's going on, while they adjust. But the match defense has been so effective. And for PuTi, it felt like they'd been unshackled a little bit.
I'm sure they scouted PuTi and they've seen deep shots to players in open spaces and they want to stop that. And in my opinion, that's just the right thing to do. Put a zone on, make them throw 1,000 passes, and if they complete it, that's fair. It's good enough.
Hello to everyone watching on our YouTube channel and getting involved in the chat. If you want to be one of those who's doing the same, then of course you can like, subscribe. Over 10,000 subscribers now to our YouTube channel, so thank you everyone who is already a part of our mission. And by subscribing, there's a short wait time, so we filter out all the spam bots, and then you can get involved interacting in the chat as well. Here's the pull from PuTi. And GRUT's offense back in once more. Bernard fakes, trying to find an option. It's Oort as the reset. Very whipped fake. Breaks the backhand to Jansen. Jansen floats that one a little bit, not a problem. Well reeled in by Munkau. Blasman. Blasman down the far sideline finds Jansen. Just happy to grind it underneath at this point. Blasman weighs that one up nicely. Travels ever so slightly, resets his feet. Swings to Oort. Oort desperately trying to control the traffic downfield. Does not like what he sees at all, and the push pass releases Blasman. Here's Coulart at the front of the end zone. If you cannot stop that break, Coulart is going to destroy you. 5-2 to GRUT now.
This looked like GRUT was slicing through PuTi's defense, but I liked how PuTi in the beginning stopped their first and also their second cutback option. So their initial pull play of horizontal sec didn't really work. See a bit of frustration there before getting rid of that disc.
Yeah, often you see a lot of teams, they'll draw up specific plays, but if they can't get them off, because they're so focused on executing their plan, there's not a way to adjust. But especially when you've got the sort of chemistry that GRUT have and just the general all-round ability, you recognise, okay, we've not got it, let's adjust, let's reset, let's get into a more fluid offense and play from there.
There's a lot of trust on that team, you can see that. Many of the shots. But I don't think you have to like direct traffic like that. Just focus on fakes, focus on your mark and the way he's counting, or they're counting, rather than screaming at your teammates when they're open anyway.
I feel like Oort generally makes his feelings felt when he's got the disc. This is a monster of a pull that is going to drop in the back of the end zone. Brilliant pull from GRUT and turned over on the first pass from PuTi. That right there is the power of pulling.
Beautiful pull. And a miscommunication on PuTi's side gives GRUT the disc on the end zone line.
The Austrian Dunshern zips it into Lola Dam, and it's now 6-2. Wow, that is a crushing blow. A monster pull, turn it over for first pass, and then one pass later, you've been broken again.
Beautiful inside shot from Dunshern. He told me about his connection with Lola Dam, saying she is just such a dream to play with because you can always trust her to get that disc.
Right, to this day, I've not seen a team be able to stop Lola Dam at the front of the end zone. I just have not. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that I haven't seen it. Beautiful low release there from Junshern as well. Just to sneak that one under the Mark's hand.
Maybe there will be a team at some point, because all of them are going to Worlds. And as we know, it's a different stage.
Yeah, there's different pressures, different eyes watching you, different challenges, different teams, different matchups, but it's like a comfort blanket or your favorite cuddly toy, isn't it? You just know it's there, and it's going to give you exactly what you need. Koivunen fields the ball. First pass goes to Sivo. PuTi trying to get their offense moving. With a group, Marks sagging off the handlers, and it works as Epstein gets the tip on the huck. Janssen cleans up behind. He's come over to play defense. And there's a leading pass down the far sideline. Junshern rips it. It blades perfectly into Janssen's outstretched arms. He's looking to isolate Dam, but Dam slips. Instead, it is broken down the far side, and GRUT are just further extending their advantage. 7-2 now. PuTi calling the timeout, and you know what? I think I'd do the same.
Veteran call from PuTi trying to stop GRUT's momentum that is running away from them quickly.
Yeah, while the two sides take a little bit of a breather, we'll do the same in the booth as you get a replay of that score. But don't go anywhere, because the mixed final continues after the break.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. Ultimate.tv. The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. Ultimate.tv.
Welcome back to Ulti TV's coverage of Windmill 2022, the mixed final, with GRUT up 7-2 here on PuTi. And if you do want to help spread the growth of Ultimate here in Europe and worldwide, then, well, I just follow the instructions, you know. Like, share, subscribe, and you can become a member of our Patreon as well. For as little as a pint of beer a month, although you are, of course, welcome to donate more, you can help us bring Ultimate for free to the masses.
Ball goes up for PuTi. Shorter one this time.
Yeah, it's not going to pin them right at the back of the end zone, so they won't have that added pressure. But still, you know that GRUT are going to ramp it up on defense. Everything looking very congested at the moment for PuTi. Just having to play it short. GRUT zone. Really slowing them down. Ben Ort's patrolling that deep space. And at the moment, they're just happy to try and just pip it and pop it underneath. Looking out wide, Sandberg doesn't really like what he sees, so does dishes off. Everything's still within the shadow of that end zone. Finally looks like they've got a little bit of space, and the thread through to Leno is rushed. That's what this zone does. The opportunities do not come frequently, and when they do, you're so keen to hit them that you're off balance, you rush the throw. Leno couldn't reel it in. Oort picks up, looking to break for half. Dam is the initiating cut underneath. Pumps the backhand. Goes a little bit out wide, but really well ruled in by Whitcomb. Now Tenkata down the sideline for Ben Oort, and GRUT break once more. This half is over in a flash. Blink and you'll miss it stuff from the Dutch. Half-time score, GRUT 8, PuTi 2. This is devastating from GRUT.
GRUT coming into this first half firing. They pushed so hard in the quarter and semi-final, and they have not taken their foot off the gas for this final here, showing us clinical play. Just exactly what they want to show us here in a final and at Worlds as well.
Yeah, after an early offensive miscue, they've been pretty much flawless, have GRUT. PuTi look like at the moment they're a little bit punch drunk, like they don't have any answers. I think, you know, it's no surprise to them how good GRUT are, but maybe it's one thing to know it, it's another thing to face it on the field. And at the moment, they just look a little bit short of answers. Everything GRUT's trying seems to be working. You can see there Herbie warming up, getting on the Urban Arrow bike, and we're going to have members of the crowd see if they can throw their discs into that little basket. Oh, and Herbie's advertising your good friends at Ulti TV as well. And if it's good enough for Herbie, I think a patronage is good enough for you as well. We're going to take a little break of halftime, get some water on, readjust, talk some commentary tactics. While we do that, get yourself hydrated as well. But don't go anywhere, because the second half and the conclusion of Windmill 2022 will see you on the other side.
Balls of something, fried balls of some sort, available for purchase. Also, Beyond Burgers. If you're hungry, go purchase the food from the food cart over on the left-hand side of the stadium. So, on your way, if you're going to get up, maybe take some garbage with you. And if you pass by a volunteer, maybe give them a hug, seeing as how it's Hug a Volunteer Day. Oh, I see some volunteers getting out. That's just a random couple. Oh, here we go. Herbie's on the move. Herbie's on the move. Herbie's coming. It doesn't look like this is not usually electric function. All manual biking right now. Herbie's doing it one-handed. He's doing it one-handed, people. Look at Herbie. Defense. Oh, quick. Got elephant gun. There goes Herbie now. Got some kids after him.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. PuTi. PuTi.net.
Welcome back to Ulti TV's coverage of Windmill 2022. He's got off the bike now. I think we might have just about had a winner. It was not me.
Me neither.
No, and we're back into the mixed final where GRUT are running roughshod over their Finnish opponents. Your halftime score is GRUT 8, PuTi 2. Damn.
What a finals day we've had.
Yeah, we've not had a close game so far. This looks like it might be on paper, but of course, as we all know, the game's not played on paper. But to say this game is over, I think, is to discount PuTi.
100%.
GRUT have looked unstoppable, but until this game is done, I'm not counting the Finns out.
Me neither. I'm pretty sure they have some tricks up their sleeves.
Yeah, it's got to start with putting this point in offensively, and then they can see what they've got in their defensive bag of tricks. Short rolling pull starts by PuTi, and the second half begins. Hitonen to Nino, stuffed by Fuchs. That was not the second half that PuTi, the start to the second half that PuTi needed. Dayan goes underneath to Lola Dam. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Dam just tosses that one up towards the far side. Wilhelm wants to lead. Dayan a little bit too far in front in the end. PuTi will get the disc back. A rare mistake there from GRUT. Here's Sivo. Tempting undercut. Just floats that one out there. PuTi now looking long, trying to find Hatari, streaking down the field. But there was, in all honesty, no way that Raquel Hatari was ever going to catch up to that. Too far out in front.
Seemed a bit rushed, that shot beautiful, but not enough hang time on it. Too zippy.
I like the idea, stretch the field. Don't keep that offense so compressed, even if there wasn't the reward for it. And Dam gets D'd.
There you go. There's your reward. Red zone opportunity for PuTi.
Ricola strides towards the disc. Front of the end zone cut, clears out. Trying to float this one towards the break side. Beat from Dayan, does not get there. And Sivo puts it in for 8-3. Well, it was not the cleanest of holds. Certainly not the hold that PuTi would have wanted, but they're very grateful for it all the same. That break backhand down the sideline does the trick.
A huge layout D attempt by Dayan, just fingertips away. But that makes for an easy collection. For a goal for PuTi. Hold nonetheless, as you already said. A high disc, look at that. It's a bit of a Hail Mary. Trying to float it out.
Give it a go. You know, maybe you could say that it was a teaser for the crowd. Get them involved.
Are you saying show dive?
No. I'm saying that very handily this pole blocks my head. Hello. Look at us wearing our very on-brand jumpers. Aren't we disgusting? We're matching, look.
Yeah.
It does mean that you can't see the wonderful flowery shirt that I'm wearing, but what can you do?
Gotta set for some priorities.
Benji Rees and Christina Obermeyer in the booth for the mixed final, the last game of Windmill 2022. I can't believe it's almost over.
Well, we're gonna enjoy every single moment that we have left.
Absolutely. GRUT will be trying to do the same here as Blastman catches the pull and finds Ben Oort. Activates Janssen coming out of that stack, and Janssen lashes it, and Harris maybe got too far underneath it, could have tried chasing it down, but instead wanted to take it early, and GRUT turn it over.
Misreading it a bit. He wanted to jump in full speed, and that did not work out too well. So we see that again. Just can't put his fingers around that disc. PuTi get a free opportunity for a break.
So, can PuTi eat away at that deficit? Underneath, Kalpinen catches, but there is a stoppage.
Hand signals of a foul that is retracted. So I'm guessing this stays with Kalpinen.
Yeah, it does seem to be the resolution. Sun bursts through the cloud once more. Sunglasses go back on. Kalpinen inside, stretching but reeled in. Dished off to McKean. McKean is eyeing up the big shot, goes underneath instead, where is Kalpinen? It's not Kalpinen, excuse me, that is Soraka. Nemo breaks it around. Petrikis. Reset clearing through, and just off that hand. Sastermoinen couldn't snag it. Probably wants that one back. Now GRUT trying to keep this going quickly, not let the PuTi defense get set, but they're tight now in the red zone. Janssen floated over the top, brings it in easily. Nothing the defender could do, and it's 9-3.
It's the same shot we saw from PuTi earlier, just high release backhand break along the line. Well ruled in by GRUT as they advance. Make the score 9-3 in their favor. A bit shaky, but through their pressure on defense, getting it back again. That disc, the possession.
Yeah, there's the replay of the drop. It's a little bit far out in front, but I think Sastermoinen would back himself to make that catch the overwhelming majority of the time.
But it's just one more sign of the intense defense GRUT is playing. The thrower doesn't trust himself or maybe his receiver enough to put it more direct. He has to put it out into space for him to run under, and makes this catch far more difficult.
It's just, yeah, you're right, it's in the back of the mind. You're adjusting on every throw now because you've seen that these bids can come in from anywhere.
And even if you won't get that D, flying past your defender already stifled them.
Scarp with the pull. This is a big pull. Someone had their toast and Nutella this morning, although other breakfast spreads are available, as this sails through the post and out the back of the end zone.
One other breakfast spread is available? Peanut butter?
Well, I just mean more generally rather than specifically here. But
Oh,
yes, was there not even jam?
Oh, there was. Never mind.
I must admit, I had other priorities at breakfast time.
Sleeping.
Correct, yes. Disc brought in by Sivo. Needy. Faking, trying to get it through this front line of defense. From GRUT on the high stall, Nino has no other option but to jack it, but he's got a player that's leaked out the far side of the zone. And it is fingertips away from Hatari.
Pinpoint into the back of the end zone. No way that the defender can catch up with it, but just centimeters away from the
It missed by this much.
Unfortunately, this much is enough.
So GRUT's D-line struggling actually to find some separation, but there is going to be a stoppage for a call.
Cuts from the D-line, not very decisive. Go good pressure on PuTi.
Downfield thrown straight to PuTi. Trying to play it quickly. Might have to go backwards here as the stall count rises. Tried to flick that one through. It was a little bit floaty from Nini, but it did find the target in the end. And PuTi back on the board. Through Maya Leno, that'll be 9-4.
Bit floaty, but just enough float for Leno to collect it in the end zone.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be the prettiest throw, as long as it gets where it needs to go. As you mentioned, that put on the previous possession looked beautiful, but didn't hit the target. That throw, not as aesthetically pleasing, but more effective. It was, however, a throw with a lot lower degree of difficulty. See it here on the replay. Sandberg looks, the mental clock in his head says time to reset. And you can see the wind maybe just flittering it a little bit, but it's on point.
On that replay, it looked like the wind flittering it away from the defense into the break space actually worked out very well for PuTi. Otherwise, there might have been a defense.
Potentially, yes.
Could have run through that. So maybe he calculated it perfectly.
It's all right. I'm not commentating in my second language. I'll let you off.
Thank you.
Just this once.
I'll try to make it better next time.
Doing a bang-up job already as Minard fields the pull. Blassman underneath to Oort. Oort with that blading flick finds Coulart. Coulart rips it deep. Oort is the target. And a brilliant flying bid comes through to knock it away from Petrikis. He's down in a heap on the turf.
Players tangling as both of them lay out. Very late shot from Coulart. She wants to throw it, doesn't know how to, and then puts up that inside shot.
In the end, I don't know if Petrikis gets her hand on it, but puts enough pressure there so that Oort has to bid hard and can't reel it in. Doesn't matter whether you get it on defense, as long as your opposition doesn't. Vardanen on the far side finds Ronnie Hatari. Hatari's got this big break open where he finds Petrikis. Petrikis turns, scans. This might be overthrown, and Munkau knocks it to turf.
GRUT are poaching off one person that recognizes it from PuTi, but then an easy throw to a very open player does not connect.
And a timeout here from GRUT with their offense not firing with the same consistency that it was in the first half, so it makes sense. We're going to take a little break here in the booth as well. Don't go anywhere, because the second half continues shortly.
Connor. Yes, Connor. Have you signed up to the Ulta TV Patreon yet? No, not yet. Why? We best get on it before London Invite. They've got 16 of the best men's and women's teams from around Europe, and it's the last stop before Worlds. And it's only $3.50 a month. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Well, I'll get on it late. It's on the right tab for you there as well.
The two Connors raise a very good point. If you want to watch London Invite, then you should become a patron and help us grow Ultimate for for as little as the price of a pint of beer a month, although if you wanted to donate the price of a crate of beer a month, of course, we would not turn you down. You can help bring as much live free Ultimate as we can. Janssen floats that one down the sideline, snatched away by Martus. There's a player streaking deep, but PuTi choosing to be a little bit more judicious with their choice of shots. Now Petrikis takes off, and they're going to throw the underneath instead. Hatari thinks about it. Hatari pulls the trigger. Oort is blocked as the disc ends in Petrikis' hands. And the resultant foul call is made and retracted.
No foul call made, I believe. Ben Oort recognizing that he might not have gotten there because this throw was, again, pinpoint perfect for PuTi.
And that is PuTi's first break of the game. I told you that it wasn't over yet. 9-5 now. A couple of times we've seen these shots which are really difficult as Martus really ripped that one away. Across the field, trying to negotiate the wind, just sits it there, and I think you're right, even though Kalpinen does get in the way, Oort recognises that he's always beaten there.
I do actually think that Oort ran into Kalpinen, who was just also running towards that disc.
That might also have been the case, yes. I think it's one of those things where so often you see a collision happen and you almost expect the call to be made just out of habit, but not on this occasion. I hold my hands up.
GRUT's O-line taking the field.
Going to keep them out there despite the break. Who can I see out there? Moncal, Coularts, Harris. Looks like Bardol, Minard, Janssen, and Oort. PuTi with the pull. It's Martus who got the block. Pulls downfield and it'll stop about where the brick mark would be. Oort picks up, utilising the side stack. They've isolated Harris in space in the centre, and Harris gets it on that big gainer underneath. Now skipping on the sideline with Coularts. Coularts to Oort. Again, playing it very close to the sideline. Oort wants to blade it. Defender falls over. And Coularts does not need telling twice that the goal is available. 10-5.
That's an ankle breaker if I've ever seen one. Coularts just absolutely faking out her defender. Beautiful flow from GRUT to reel that in. Only using one side of the pitch though. Only needing to use one side of it. Going up the line.
Yeah, in an ideal world, I think teams like to have it in the centre of the pitch. It gives you both sides to attack, gives you more options available. But if you can continually get free open side, as that is a real decleater of a cut from Coularts, well, then why even bother breaking?
So we saw GRUT set up in that side stack, giving Harris so much space. So you just make the open side bigger for him, and then every other cut will just have so much space if you manage to isolate player.
Yeah, I'd maybe like to see PuTi poach off that side stack a little bit more centrally, just to clog up that space slightly and muddy the area that Harris wants to attack. Sivo finds Sandberg. Sandberg tries to sit this one out there. Chased down brilliantly by Arkanini.
So much float on that disc, just putting it out to space. Again, isolating a single player. He has to go to ground, but to be fair, wind has picked up and it was a pretty perfect catch.
Yeah, I think Sandberg knew exactly what he was doing there. Felt the wind and just wanted to sit it out there. Give Nini the chance to maybe make the highlight reel play. And he gets those pistons pumping, churns downfield, and a really difficult catch, actually, at that sort of height. Do you lay out for it? Do you slide? Do you go one or two-handed? He sticks it with aplomb.
I don't think he thought about it too much. At this point in this game, he has to just rely on his muscle memory.
It's instinctual.
Yeah. You know what I actually do? I close my eyes when laying out.
Oh my God.
I never see the disc once I decide to just jump.
But then how do you know what? I mean, to be fair, I don't really lay out, so I can't. I have no position of authority here. Here's Menard. Looking at Blastman. Now Oort. That fake just gets the defender biting enough to free Oort as the reset. Hatari was caught hook, line and sinker. Overthrown for Munkow, but Harris is there with backup. Brilliant field awareness, faking the backhand. Now going to the ever reliable Menard. Menard with a low release. Somehow stays up. Signaled up on the sideline as well. Janssen faking that high release flick. Wants to really zip that in there. Oort spears it and finds Coulars at the front of the end zone again. We've seen that connection so many times over the years, and once more it pays dividends, and it is fruitful for 11-6.
I've mentioned it before, but the way it could trust each other is just phenomenal. Putting out discs into tiny spaces, knowing every single one of those players has the skill to get that disc, to make that catch and throw it on.
GRUT's style of play is fearless. It feels like there's no throw they won't take on. You know, they always expect that player to make the leap of faith. You're seeing it here. Just like go gadget arms from Oort. And then narrow window, just why not? I'll pop it in there. Floor's going to catch it. Why even think twice? 11-6, but lead.
Stopped so many options, and you can't stop everything. And this quick break passes, just the only thing that was free, used to perfection from GRUT.
Paul coils back a little. PuTi field. Koistonen. Sandberg comes underneath. Gets it again once more, trying to play a little bit of give-go. Get the offense attacking at pace. Pushing the tempo slightly. PuTi now reset back to Koistonen. Koistonen doesn't like that undercut, and instead gets the inside break through to Sandberg. Force sags off slightly to stop the around. Sandberg wants the dish, doesn't like it. Back to the inside. And that time Nini had his hands around it and then I think knocked it out with his own legs. A little bit behind Scrub, but he's comfortable in going to ground to make sure that it stays up. Bohm to Boss. Boss finds Dam. Dam to Scarf. Epstein comes underneath out of that stack, and there is a foul called, I think. Uncontested. Good use of hand signals. It really does aid communications when sides are not communicating in their first language. Still count rising, looking towards the end zone. Oh my goodness. Dan Epstein came out of nowhere. Out of absolute nowhere.
PuTi player making a bid, trying to get that disc to the ground, but just shy, and the cut offensive player there flying in over her head, snacking that disc up for another goal. A break for GRUT.
I mean, I have to see that one again because I did not see him coming at all.
That disc was so nicely weighted that it stood there in the end zone for I would say hours, not really, but
it felt like it sometimes.
Felt like hours. Look at that, so much float and so much love. And then
Epstein, he just absolutely ghosts through.
A bit dangerous from both sides, but manages to keep possession of that disc.
12-6 now. GRUT 3 points away from another windmill crown to add.
How many is that now, Benji?
I think that would be their third.
I would have said third.
17, 18. France won it in 19, I think. And this would be 3 to go along with some ex-UCFs as well. Into the centre, Rayunanen. Calling maybe a bit of a push-off foul here is Marcel Klinge.
Reenactment. The foul.
Yeah, it's good. It's a little bit like Shakespeare in the Park.
So, I believe an uncontested offensive receiving foul results in turnover. Right.
If that would be the result, yes. I think they might be saying whether would it be a receiving foul though, because it's not necessarily on the reception itself. It's on the initial cut.
True. So the disc goes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They seem happy enough to put it back into the hands of Emil Wiedemann. Fakes an undercut I thought could have gone. And now the still count rises. Holds that flick out there and finds Heitonen. Pops up slightly, not a problem for Wiedemann. Wiedemann jacks it, he's put some inside-out shape on it. Got a target that he likes, but not going to find it. It's the Austrian Dunschan who brings it down. Seems like such a good fit here for GRUT. And we'll collect that swing, but there is a pick downfield. You wouldn't know that Dunschan's a relatively recent addition to the team.
I was just going to say, he fits like a piece of the puzzle that is GRUT.
Janssen's put deep. Was looking for slow, but she just never really located it.
Yeah, there wasn't really a connection between the two players, was
Don't
there?
know if she couldn't find it against the kind of white skies, but
Or did she not know it was up?
maybe a little bit of both. PuTi in, damn bids, doesn't get there. You can feel the energy and the intensity out here on the field. This one a little bit high, Rayunanen sticks it. Resets to Heitonen. Heitonen finds Hatari on the money to Rayunanen. Back to Heitonen. PuTi now just trying to calm it down a little bit here as they transition to an end zone set. Still count rising here, so they have to get it off. It's Wiedemann. Wiedemann's looking. Fakes the cut to Heitonen and threads the needle into the end zone. Finds Jano Sivo for the goal.
They really grinded it out at that point, PuTi. But did well. Took the open options. Second time of asking.
Yeah, turned it over, but were able to get it back on that failed deep shot from Janssen to Slob. And this one has to be precision throwing because there's not a huge window. Dunschan's overcommitted to the break side. And you can see there just coming into the picture, Van Den Brink, so you can't release that too late or he's going to get that block.
Spreading the needle. There. Dunschan trying to lay out, make up for it, but does not get there.
Hello to everyone listening and watching in the chat of the YouTube channel. We see you, we appreciate you, thank you for subscribing. One of our over 10,000 subscribers now to OTTV. Your support means the world to us, and you can support us further by becoming a member of our Patreon, patreon.com/OTTV, to help us grow Ultimate. Rolling backhand pull will blade in from Kokkonen. Fielded on the roll. Maybe a little fumble from Blastman, but no problem. Oort. With the force not there, you know he's thinking about the jack, and he shows it again. Minard comes under. Trying to attack that inside backhand, but it's not there. With the stall rising, Minard to space for Janssen. Players going on downfield as Oort absolutely booms this. It is connected to Harris, but there was a stall out a lot earlier in the play.
That was a beautiful shot. Love to see it, even though the disc will probably go back to Minard.
I'll tell you it's not going to go back to Minard because the stall out's uncontested.
Well, it's going to go back there where Minard was staying. She's going to check it in as well, so...
It goes back to her, if not in her possession.
Yeah.
Checked back in. Maria Noppanen on the mark. Was able to just keep that clock ticking long enough. PuTi calmly walking towards the disc. Trying to make sure that end zone play is set up. McKean. Wanted the around backhand. Resets to Kokkonen. Snatches it away from Oort. Going backwards now. They play that switch nicely. Kokkonen to McKean. McKean to the end zone. Nemo for the goal, and 12-8.
PuTi has shown us again and again that their red zone is clinical and so calm. They don't mind taking 5, 10, or even 20 passes, running in their hand asset and resetting the disc again and again, and waiting for the perfect opportunity, a defense maybe a bit out of place, to put that disc into the end zone.
So 8-12, GRUT still very much in the driving seat here, but despite being in pole position, I can just see PuTi looming in the rear view mirrors.
It ain't over till it's over.
Just under an hour on the clock. Time cap goes at 85 minutes.
We add 1 to the highest score. There's a cap at 15 points.
Yeah, and the rate at which the game's been going, it's been played at a quick pace. It does feel like we'll hit that 15-point cap.
Also trying to get the wave started over here on the left side of the stadium. You guys ready to do the wave? It's coming.
A wave goes across the stand on the far side. Thought it lost a little bit of steam, but it looks like it's going to make it all the way. Windmill crowd love to have a little bit of fun and cut loose after a long weekend of playing frisbee and partying. How you balance those two things is up to the teams. Oh, Kalotz has gone deep. Oort needs no invitation. Puts it, but it's not in the end zone just yet. In the pitch.
There's discussion whether it's in or outside the end zone.
No, I don't think there's any question about whether it was up or whether it was in bounds. So you're going to get on the replay. That's not in my book. Checked in, and Kalotz brings it to the front. Squirreling, shuttling around, going with the hammer, and acrobatically towing the line.
The scuba.
That's the one, that's what I meant to say. Is Walt Janssen at 13-6.
Nifty by Kulas. Would have had an around reset option, but why take the safety when you can do the sparkly?
Have a little bit of flair. Did I say 13-6? I meant 13-8. My brain is temporarily escaping me. Still count rising with Kulart's focus on that front of the end zone. And what Kulart's does well here is take advantage of the face mark from Varnanen. Knows that he can't see the disc. So you can just put it up beyond him in a position where Janssen can make the catch. The goal should be good. He toes the line well. You can see they're demonstrating that footwork very much in bounds, and by the time Varnanen sees it, it's almost already the score.
Janssen and Kulat have been playing on the same team for quite some time. They know each other pretty well.
They have that trust, that connection. As does almost everyone on this GRUT roster. So the pull goes up from GRUT, out of the arm of Kulat. He's coming over to play some defense. Sandberg has it just across the halfway line. Goes back to Hietanen. Hietanen to Nini. Looking for options. Now the lefty is utilised to find the reset. And Lola Dam! Do I need to say anything else?
Huge layout bid.
Oort will pick up. Wants to put this out for Kulat. Kulat's ripping it deep. Bid comes in from Sandberg, but it doesn't get there. And in the battle of the 17s, Skarp comes out on top. Or does he? Because I think this is going to go back on a travel. Leno saying that Kulat might have been, quote-unquote, rounding the corner a little bit, not slowing down on that straight line. The advantage, of course, is that by not slowing down straight, you're already almost putting yourself in a little bit of a power position there. Offhand backhand to Oort. Oort breaks. Skarp not in the end zone this time, but still making the catch. Going to get this up line. Wanted to milk it, but can't get it all the way in the end zone. Showing the dish, and then dishes it to Kulat. It is 14-8. GRUT 1 point away from victory.
Milked that up the line so far, just in front of the end zone, and then he got multiple options. Looks too off and then goes for the front one to Kulat with it easy. So offhand, backhand to the end zone. The wiser option, in my opinion, as opposed to throwing a flick in that situation. See that bit of Sandberg's just fingertips away.
Yeah, and there's the huck that gets, that's the huck that gets called back. Here's Skarp just trying to get as much ground as he can with that. Then holding, waiting, and just a little pop into the end zone for the score.
Kulat's getting the score instead of the assist on that.
Still finding a way to burgeon her ever-growing stat sheet. Pull to PuTi.
Wind picking up drastically.
Yeah, this is probably the last thing the Finns needed. GRUT shows zone. And it's tipped into the hands of Epstein. Yards away from victory now. Epstein goes back to Oort. Oort jams it into Dam. GRUT are your mixed division windmill champions. 15-8 the final score over PuTi.
What a performance by GRUT, demonstrating that clinical offense, clinical defense. How far they have come from previous years, even before COVID.
They look at a more mature, more clinical, more ruthless side, and this is a warning shot across potential opponents in Cincinnati. Just a hand in there, goes to Epstein, but rather than forcing it immediately, sees that it's not there, uses the offhand backhand to find Oort. Or Dam's coming to the front cone, pings it in there, and you can see what it means. GRUT 15-8 final score here over PuTi, and that is Windmill. The two sides huddle up to go into their spirit circle. And Windmill's over for another year. 2022 is in the books. I can scarcely believe it. It feels like just yesterday that that we were arriving, pitching tents, getting ready for the festivities, and now we've got to unpack it all and go home. But never fear, because your ultimate fix is never far around the corner, because next week we're in multiple locations. We are in London for the London Invite with 16 of Europe's best going at it in the last stop before the World Club Championships in Cincinnati, and also starting next weekend, the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships in Limerick, and Ulti TV will be there covering both. Once our team from London makes it across the Irish Sea, we'll be bringing you 2 pitches at Limerick as well, because the hard work, the grind never stops for us here at Ulti TV. Another 33 games in the books this weekend, and it wouldn't be possible without the
Ulti.tv.
So for all of our Ulti TV crew, we've had a number of new faces join us this week, and they've all, I was going to say behaved, that's not the word I wanted. They've all performed impeccably. Lucia, Iris, Luna, Chips, Jack, Vez, Dylan, Milan, Mike, Nick, Felix. Is that all the crew, maybe? To our guest commentators, Sean and Dimitri. For Rachel Douglas, for Corey Sostray, for Luke Burgess, and for Christina Obermeyer. I am Benjamin Rees. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you another glorious Windmill. A reminder that we are in London and Limerick next week. You can follow it all with Ulti TV, so make sure you subscribe and ring the bell to get notified whenever we go live. And if you want a little extra bonus as well, by becoming a member of our Patreon for as little as a few currency a month, you can help us bring as much live Ultimate to the people as we can and allow us to continue doing what we love. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week in London and Limerick. Have a very good afternoon. Ulti TV will see you on the other side.
Ulti.tv.